Hello, my name is Syafruddin. On this occasion, allow me to present our paper entitled Transculturality, Cultural Broker and Colonial Space in the novel Morenga by Uwe Timm. Let us get a closer look to the cultural shift that underlies the emergence of transculturality. The concept of traditional culture that characterized by binary relationships is no longer appropriate to be applied in a more complex society. Therefore, a new cultural concept has emerged which emphasizes more or cultural diversity. Various kinds of terms, such as the intercultural, multicultural, cross-cultural, and transcultural, appear to define culture from a new perspective. Next, let's focus on transcultural. Transculturality was revived by Wolfgang Welsch in the early 1990s. He shows that our culture no longer have the insinuated form of homogeneity and separateness, but are characterized by mixing and permeation. Welsch further states that transculturality is not a matter of uniformity. Nevertheless, it is intrinsically linked to the emergence of new diversity and perceiving cultures as flow-moving in close interaction with one another, where negotiations and changes are working alongside conflict. This means that new space and hybridity can occur as a result of negotiating differences. We can see transculturality in the colonial period, as Fernando Ortiz 1940 and Marie-Louise Prat 1992 wrote in their books. There have been several studies on transculturality during the German colonial period, but there is still more gaps to study on it. The brief period of German colonialism, which lasted from 1884 to 1919, remains with many stories. One of them is written by Uwe Timm in 1978 in his novel entitled Morenga. This novel reveals the story of the resistance of the Nama tribe against German occupation. This resistance is led by Morenga. Amid the resistance and suffering of the Nama tribe due to the domination of German protectorate, it turned out that there were attempts to find intermediate spaces from the existing differences. In more detail, we will focus on two research questions, namely, how does permeation occur in colonial spaces amid inequality, and what is the role of cultural brokers in creating intermediate spaces? To answer the question, I use the close reading method by focusing on data related to transculturality, the feud in differences and conflicts. On the other hand, there were negotiation efforts to look for similarities from the intertwine of two different cultures. Now, let me check the result of the analysis of the reading of the Morenga novel. There is always a gap in the colonial space due to the lack of initial knowledge of the cultures they encounter. It always creates prejudice and stereotype among them. White and black is the stereotype that appears most often in Morenga novel. The dichotomy is constructed as if they stand for kindness and evil, civilization and barbarism, intelligence and emotion, self and other, as well as culture and nature. As Welsch stated, hybridity is one of the characteristics of transculturality, both in micro or individual and macro or social level. For the Nama people, at the micro level, they have received hybridity so that transculturality can occur at the macro level, while for many of German settlers, they cannot accept difference at macro level, so that at the macro level, they still find it difficult to accept differences. This understanding of the self and the others is important in transculturality, as mentioned by Welsch. that in culture there is no more alienation. Alienation has become foreign to them. The new life, which is mixture of culture, has long been going on in the Nama tribe. However, this is not realized by most German settlers. Only a few people are aware of this cultural permeation. One of them are Gottschalk and Wenstrup, who oppose the dichotomy. Transfer of knowledge is also one of the characteristics of transculturality. In the Morenga novel, we see the transfer of knowledge in three aspects, namely language, war strategies, and the handling of livestock. Language is the main means of transferring knowledge. The Nama tribe is described as smart and learn German easily, while only a few migrants master the language of Nama. The second is war strategy, which is not taught in German military academies. The last is in animal husbandry. Local knowledge in the field of animal husbandry is beyond Gottschalk's expectation as a veterinarian. From local residents, he knows a lot about livestock, one of which is how to detect diseases in livestock. Now, we go through the intermediary space. The mission station and the church are intermediate space in gaps. Although few Nama people have converted to Christian, their daily lives are considered close to Christian morals. Therefore, the mission station and the church are used as an intermediary to bridge the existing differences. For example, Shepherd, a black priest, appeared and became the intermediary who awakens the African through his sermons. He influenced both German and Nama people about the importance of African rights. To sum up, we can say that in the midst of colonial conflict, the emergence of several cultural brokers minimized the existing conflicts by prioritizing similarities rather than differences. In addition, the mission station and the church could be an intermediate space, which could see the similarities between the Nama culture and the Christian morals that were practiced by most Germans in the colony. Well, that is my presentation. Thank you very much.